Hello everyone and welcome to the MBH YouTube channel for our monthly catch up with our CEO Callum Laing. I am Lisa Maynard-Attem, your host and the MBH board level apprentice. Hi Callum, how are you?
I am very well, thank you, Lisa. Very well, and looking forward to this call.
Yeah, me too. Let's kick things off then. I thought we could start talking about the half year numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been waiting to talk about these for a long time. It's nice to have some positive news, and obviously, you know, it takes a while before we can announce them. But it's we've seen the uplift in the companies, and it's it's just so nice to see companies kind of getting back into the swing of things, and there's still clearly still lots of challenges, but great to see the results that we've been able to produce in that first 6 months of 2021.
I was having a look at some of the percentages, and they are really impressive in terms of the revenue, EBIT, estimated EPS, but I'll let you share those because I know you've been itching to talk about them.
Yeah, look, I think we've got them all in the report, and I'd encourage people to go and have a look at the microsite, because there's not just the financial numbers, but there's kind of the stories behind them, and a lot of other details in there, including the fact that a lot of the companies are actually buying shares for their staff as well, which is something that we're enormously proud of. But yeah, the numbers are great, and I think I think it's easy. You talked about the percentages. It's easy to look good after the challenge of last year. And I think everyone knows that, because a lot of companies have kind of bounced back after that, but it doesn't take anything away from the amount of work and effort that has gone into getting to those numbers, and to get back up to basically to have done more in terms of revenue and EBIT in the first 6 months than we were able to do for the whole of 2020 is fantastic. And I think it does show what it kind of gives us a hint of what the companies are capable of. I don't think we're anywhere near reaching our stride yet, but I think it does give us a chance to showcase. And I think one of the biggest frustrations for us about 2020 was, we had a good 2019. We kind of found our rhythm. We were bringing in some great companies, and it would have been awesome to show those companies actually kind of hitting it out of the park and doing what they do so well, and demonstrate that the model was working. And then of course we had 2020 and COVID and all of the lockdowns, and it actually, I think, demonstrated that the model worked incredibly well. But on the other side of things, it demonstrated how well the companies came together, and the fact that all of the losses in 2020 were contained to just one industry. Everyone else was profitable, I think was fantastic. But now seeing what's happening in the first half of 2021, and look, it's not to take away, there's still a ton of challenges going on. You and I were just talking before this call about the fact that here in Singapore, we've just gone back into another form of lockdown. New Zealand and Australia are both still in lockdowns. And then above the equator, obviously in the UK and the US, there's an enormous amount of challenges with getting good staff, and challenges with supply chain and components increasing exponentially sometimes. So there's a lot of challenges, but I think what's encouraging is that small businesses love those sort of challenges. Small businesses are very good at dealing when you've got client demand, then business owners can get very creative in finding solutions to that. So it's an exciting guide to what's coming.
It'll be interesting to see what happens in the second half of the year. I thought as well we could kind of touch on the 3 value drivers, talk a little bit about that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, what's interesting is in the chairman's letter that I wrote back in a while ago, 2017, 2018, And it really sort of laid out the ethos and what we're trying to create. And I talked about these shareholder drivers of value being accretive acquisitions, being organic growth, and being synergies within the group. And accretive acquisitions is really the key one. I mean, the fact that we've gone basically from nothing to 25 companies in less than 3 years is all due to the fact that we're able to do those accretive acquisitions. But you also want to see organic growth, because that's, we're not just about acquiring companies, we're about providing a platform for those companies to perform. And so if we're not seeing organic growth, there's clearly a challenge there. But we did see that in 2019, and we are starting to see that again. Now, what's interesting is the organic growth, or the success of the organic growth has actually been it's slowed us down on the accretive acquisitions, which is a little bit frustrating. But we've got a couple of companies in the group particular that have been very acquisitive. They joined the group specifically to grow through acquisitions, but for those companies, the demand for their core product has been so high, and they've been so stretched just delivering on that. They haven't had time to deal with the acquisitions that are coming along the pipeline. And also at our level, when we're talking to inbound companies and there's no shortage of companies that want to join us, but again, they're all flat out with dealing with client demand. And so we've had a bit of a lull for a normal company, doing 5 acquisitions in the first 9 months would be considered quite excessive for us. We feel that we're sort of falling behind. So we've got a bit of work to do in the last quarter of the year to try and catch up with that. But look, these are good problems to have, and I'd much rather companies were struggling to deliver to their clients than struggling not having enough clients in the first place.
Yeah. And then in terms of just like talking about acquisitions, and I know I always ask you this, but I'm always curious, are there any acquisitions that you can tell us about? Maybe.
No, but I appreciate you trying every month. It's look, I think what's exciting, we do have some really good companies. That doesn't help you at all, does it? But I know I'm very excited. I'm very excited about the companies that we've got coming along, and I know a number of the companies in our group that have connected with those companies, they're also excited. So yeah, I think you're just gonna have to sit tight and wait on those. But look, I think what's more exciting to me is just generally that we've kind of reached this point yet, and we're still, I still don't think we're kind of barely off the starting line in terms of where we're going. But with every company that we're talking to about joining us, it's so exciting to see, that these companies are coming in, they've got decades of entrepreneurial experience, which they're bringing to the group. They've got their own contacts, they've got their own leads, they've got their own experience. And there's an awful lot, and that third value driver of synergies, there's an awful lot going on already in the group with companies sharing best practices. And with every company that we add, we kind of add another element to that and another opportunity for companies to grow. So yeah, it gets kind of more and more exciting, and I think I don't want to sort of over egg the second half of this year, because there are definitely those challenges that I talked about, and I think maybe it'll be 2022 before a lot of the companies kind of get fully back into their stride. But I think for me, if I see how much fun those companies are having today, even with the challenges, just to be back and generating revenue and solving problems for their clients, I think once they're properly unleashed and able to go full tilt, plus with all the other companies we've got waiting to come in, it's going to be an exciting few years ahead of us.
Yeah, it's interesting actually that you talk about sharing best practice, because I was watching Margaret's video the other day, and something she touched on was the culture of collaboration within MBH, which I think we've probably talked about before. And it was just really interesting, because I remember when I had my chat with her, that was something that we both identified within MBH. So it's interesting you touching on it today. But as you won't share any of the potential new acquisitions with me, is there anything else that you want to talk about or chat about, or even give us a little hint about?
No, I mean, I think I touched on it already, but I think one of the things that we outlined in this half-year report is that a number of the companies in the group have put together share ownership opportunities for their employees and for the team members. And yeah, that's something, it's already an inherent part of our concept, is that, you know, the principals are the majority shareholders in the group. They determine the way this runs. But for those business owners that have spent decades building their company, often their teams have been with them for decades as well. And it's great for them to have opportunities to buy. And I know, you know, we've had individuals, you know, oftentimes the bonus shares get spread amongst employees, but what we've seen this year is a number of companies starting to implement these share ownership programs for employees, where employees can take a percentage of their salaries at the end of each month, and they can buy MBH stock, and the company itself will match that. So it's a great way for employees, just, you know, only risking £100 or £200 a month, but they're getting a chance to accumulate MBH stock and really feel like they're part of this group. So and look, that wasn't an idea that came from the board. That was an idea that came from the companies themselves. It was and I think that's where, you know, we'll continue to see a lot more of those kind of opportunities and ideas being shared amongst the group.
Yeah, it's great. I think, you know, it's just basing business, as I think Margaret said the other day, but it's just basing business around people, not just profit, which I think is fantastic. So no, I think it's great. Well, that's it from me. I don't have any more questions. So thank you very much for our chat. I look forward to our next chat next month, when I will be asking once again if there are any acquisitions you want to share with us.
Hopefully we'll have some fun ones to share with you by then.
I cannot wait. But thank you so much, Callum, and thanks to everyone for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, bye.
Thanks, Lisa. Bye-bye.